Shalom Sanitim. So I have a family member who has become interested in the Hebrew language and the Jewish origins of Christianity, the Jewishness of Jesus, and so forth. And so I also posted recently a post encouraging Christians and honestly anybody who wants to stand in solidarity with the people of Israel and to stand against anti-Semitism, that they join the Jewish people during this year's season of Hanukkah as a public stance of camaraderie with the Jewish people and as advocates for the right of self-defense, that the right path when a person or his family or his people are slaughtered, the right path is not to lay down on your back and give them your neck so that you can be slaughtered further, but rather the right path, the moral path, is to respond to the degree necessary to ensure that that wickedness will not happen again. So if you share these sentiments with the people of Israel, I encourage you to light the Hanukkah candles this year, whether in your home or even better, outside your home, if you dare. But I have a cousin who has recently gotten interested in Hanukkah, so someone responded to something that he wrote on the internet saying that Christians shouldn't celebrate Hanukkah, and then they list or some examples of atrocities that Christians have done toward Jews. Now, it's a fact. It's not really debatable. I mean, you can debate it, but pick up some books, read. The official governments, official church organizations over the last 2,000 years have done horrendous things to the Jewish people again and again in practically every century of the last 2,000 years. However, that is no reason to tell a sincere Christian who wishes to show solidarity with the Jewish people, that is no reason to say that they can or should not celebrate Hanukkah because of the evils of some other people who claimed the term Christian and did horrible things in the name of Christianity over the last 2,000 years. These are obviously not the same people, and it is equal injustice, contrary to Jewish tradition, to hold someone morally accountable and to treat them badly because some other people did an act of wickedness. It's not justice, and it's not according to the tradition of Israel. So again, I encourage you. The only thing I would add is, yes, it is improper for someone who is not Jewish to voluntarily take on Jewish practices, Jewish customs, if they're going to do so, claiming a monopoly on them. And there are people who do this. I don't need to name names, but there are people who have no Jewish heritage, have not formally, officially joined the Jewish people in any real way other than to just suddenly start identifying themselves as Jewish and then basically inventing their own form of Judaism. That is not acceptable. But if someone who is not of Jewish ancestry wishes to show solidarity with the people of Israel by celebrating Hanukkah or doing any other Jewish tradition, as long as they are not claiming to replace the Jewish people, or as long as they are not simply inventing new practices and claiming that their newly invented practice is the authentic Jewish tradition, as long as they're not doing that, it's perfectly fine. And you can find a source for this in traditional Jewish law. We're talking about ancient Jewish law. In the Mishneh Torah of the Rambam, that's Maimonides, where he codifies the Talmudic law regarding the matter of non-Israelites, non-Jews, keeping Jewish practices. It says there that, at least according to the Jewish faith, the Jewish people, and you don't have to agree, but according to the Jewish people, the non-Israelite world is not obligated to embrace the religion of Israel, but they are obligated to keep certain bare bones ethical guidelines like don't murder, don't commit adultery, don't steal. And as far as religious laws, don't commit idolatry. Don't bow down to statues or worship something other than the incomparable God. And we also have in these books that the non-Israelite nations, according to our view, according to our religion, the non-Israelite nations are not supposed to just invent their own religious practices. But if they wish to voluntarily adopt Jewish practices, they are completely allowed to, with the exception of fully keeping the Sabbath day or studying the whole breadth of the Torah, Jewish tradition, when they have no intention of actually embracing it, or inventing their own holidays, just inventing like religions, basically. That's not allowed. But if they wish to voluntarily embrace some aspect of the Jewish religion, they're allowed to, as long as they do so according to historical Jewish practice, not just inventing their own way and claiming to replace the Jewish people. So you can find this in the Mishneh Torah of the Rambam, in the 10th chapter of the Laws of Kings and Their Wars, in the 10th halacha. And there it says so quite plainly, that with only those few exceptions, Shabbat, studying the Torah in general with no intent to keep the Torah or to be Jewish, and with the exception of inventing their own holidays, they're allowed to embrace Jewish tradition to the extent that they feel comfortable and want to. Just don't claim that you're replacing the Jewish people. And as for my cousin or many other similar people, just because person X claims to replace the Jewish people or to be the real Jews, that doesn't mean that person Y is doing the same thing. This attitude is contrary to Jewish tradition. So again, I just want to encourage you, thank you, and say your solidarity is very much appreciated. God bless you. And the people of Israel very much appreciate you. And the same God that we worship is the same God that any moral person worships, the God of all creation, the God who does not care about what skin color you are or what your ancestors did or did not do. And I just wanted to say thank you, and may we all see the day when humanity is joined together in peace and in harmony, with humility, being as kind to one another, as patient and forgiving toward one another as we want other people to be toward ourselves. God bless you, and Hanukkah Sameach.